Yeah, I hope so. Who knows? Who knows what will befall us? Feels like it could be brilliant. Might not be. Guess we'll find out. That's the exciting truth of the old matter. Oh, look at that. People are here, and I suspect that people can hear me, which, given recent circumstances, is some form of miracle. I mean, honestly, I don't know how many of you are on Twitter. My Twitter, I mean, there's lots of people on Twitter, but also lots of people who don't know what I'm saying on Twitter. But I have had the most awful time with my microphone. Miss my horrible French-speaking friend. I could take that two ways. I speak horrible French, which is the way it's probably meant in. My French is terrible. Or I am French-speaking, fluent, in fact. And I'm just a horrible person. You're hearing a horrible noise now. I thought you were in a washing machine. Right. Okay, so this, allow me to present to you, might be the issue. So my microphone, if you can hear anything that I'm saying, shall I turn off the music? No, turning off the music will probably make it worse, actually, let's be fair. So, my microphone has been doing terrible, awful things. It just completely refused to exist within my computer for a long while. It just wouldn't come up to it. Went to the Apple Store even. Wouldn't come up on any of those either. And I was just experimenting around with it, because I really don't want to be buying another microphone, and found that when I tilted it downwards, it suddenly appeared in the computer. And so I'm having it tilted down slightly, so I suspect perhaps if I do this and move the microphone down a bit more, I'll be speaking into the head of it, which won't be good for my audio, but does the sound stop, or can you still hear it? Hang on a minute. I think we have an issue here. Right, that's intriguing. Okay, so if I do that. Oh, that is very peculiar. Right. Okay. Now the things I said about my microphone were true, but that wasn't my microphone just there. That was my computer supposedly listening to the music, but really doing a bad job of it. So I guess we're going to be having none of the music. We'll just have this instead. We'll have game sound. I think the computer's just giving us a flat no on that one. Computer jazz, exactly. Computer jazz. Whatever. I might move my microphone back a bit then. Right, but ultimately, hello mate, the peculiar thing is that I have to have my microphone now tilted like it's leaning in towards me. Otherwise, a computer will not recognise it. I really am beginning to resign myself to the truth that my microphone is resolutely on the way out. But at least I can be grateful for the fact that I am now able to talk to you, at least for a bit. And I'm investigating the future of microphonage, though, as you know me, I don't like spending the old dosh, so it's going to be something that I will be looking at for a while, waiting to get a good deal. Made myself a rather nice coffee, so that was me having that. I also have my dinner. For unwelcome ambient sounds, you've got two here. I say, that mouthful was actually quite horrible. I think that didn't work well with the coffee. Politics, right? I love politics. Let's be fair. If you want to ask something about it, I'm happy to talk about it. But generally, bit of a wide field to be talking about. Are you in Australia? Yes, mate. Every day, mate. Mate. I can do a lot better Australian accent than that. That was deliberately stilted. How was your time away? Well, no, exactly. I never intended any of it to be a time away. So it hasn't been particularly relaxing or anything vaguely like that. I've just been unable to get round to doing this because of all the technological issues. Which is why I thought I'm going to seize the opportunity now that I've found a microphone half works and talk to you while I still can, I guess. What's your opinion on how the EU has been treating the UK towards things like fishing in our own waters? Crikey. Bit niche. We like that. Common fisheries policy. Interesting thing about the common fisheries policy, right? Fish have long been a backbone of the anger that there is between the two sides in the debate. It's mostly about fish. As it stands at the moment, the EU have done a rather clever play. One of the main tenets of Brexit, whether you are for it or against it in your personal opinion, is all about the fish. So you can have your own fish. The British can say, away with you, cheeky fisherman coming in stealing my fish, because that was actually the basis of something called the Factor Tame case, which was a big old case that established that EU law wins, which annoyed some people who want British law to win. What the EU have quite cleverly done is said, well, if you want to deal with me, matey, I'll have your fish. I'm going to have a quota of your fish. And I was like, oh, that's quite clever. That's quite clever what they've done there. I wouldn't want to be a negotiator at this point, because they've said, right, if you want anything, I'm having your fish. And, you know, if you're going to leave and one of the principal reasons for leaving is your fish, and they're saying, I'll keep the fish, well, then you run into some issues. So, yeah. I can't say much more than that about what the EU are doing, because, of course, well, we're in the EU at the moment, so the fishing quotas that exist apply, and so that there's really nothing new to talk about there, and probably not useful to talk about it, because is moving forward into different ways of doing your fish. Quite a clever play from the EU there with their fish. I didn't call them the enemy, just in case you were seriously quoting in that. Take your opinion what you will, as long as it's not a violent opinion of either side. Just offering up some facts about fish, because we like fish. That's not true. I don't actually like fish very much at all, unless there's loads of batter around it. I like fish and chips, I do. Very nice. But yeah, that's me and fish. Anybody want to talk about anything else? I feel like we've exhausted fish, perhaps. Anyway. Eating my food. Fine. One good thing about eating while working, calling this work, get a real job, is that I eat a lot more slowly than I do normally. So I'll actually feel more full. Because usually I just wolf it all down, and then I'm still hungry. This, I won't be, which is fantastic. What are you... Wait, are you eating? Oh, good. I'm kind of, I guess, a lot more quiet about it than I have been. Well, it's yesterday's pasta, and it's got ham, pepper, and mushroom in it. It's supposed to be a carbonara sauce, but it's definitely not. It tastes nothing like a carbonara, but it tastes all right. Mate is talking about cooling, which is, well, very sensible. Let's... Oh, crash. Apologies. Let's see if we can get that to work. I imagine that we can't, but we'll give it a go. Because it's just the sort of thing that's worth giving a go. However, I will have to inform you that Mate will have to Yeah, that won't work. That's why that won't work. Right, wrong platform. Okay. Bit weird. Right. What happened now, I assume? No, Discord did not quit unexpectedly. I don't know why you think that. Because you do that every time I quit Discord. Feel like you would catch on, but apparently not. Right. Okay, so let's say we went into Discord like that. Well, I've offloaded it. We'll have to re-download it. Cheeky Discord. Shows how many friends I have. Offloading the Discord app. Bit of food though, can't go wrong. Oh, that's a dangling bit pasta. Dangerous. Right. Okay. What do you think about climate activists? I feel like you're going to have to be more specific than that for me. Do you mean a specific climate activist like Greta, for example? Or do you mean climate activism, in which case, what element of it? I mean, I'm happy to answer that one if we go a bit more specific. In the meantime, can we call mate and see if that works? Hello, mate. You're a bit quiet. Let me make you louder. Hello, mate. Right, okay, unfortunately, I can barely hear you, so no one's going to be able to hear you. So I'll hold you to the microphone, which is barely working, so you can say hello to everyone in case they can't hear you from now on.
Hello, everyone. Wait, I think, can I turn this up? Has this just made things better? I'll take it as a no.
Hello, mate. I think, unfortunately, people can only just about hear you if you're right next to the microphone. So what I'll do, I'll put you as near to it as I can, and we'll just have to hope that you'll be heard.
Nice.
Right. So.
Are you home for Christmas, mate?
Sorry, mate?
Has your term finished?
Yeah, no, sorry, mate. It wasn't about what you said. It's just that I couldn't hear you either. Yes, I am home, mate. Yes. The term finished quite a few days ago. I've been in technological shed hole for quite a while now, which hasn't been great. But there we go. What about you, mate?
Yeah, me too, mate.
All right. Not the technological shed hole, though, I assume. No. How's your term been overall then, mate?
It's been overall quite good, I would say, mate.
Oh, that's good. And what's the most interesting new thing you've learned? I know you said you like those double integrals.
We've done it's a good question, mate.
Well, we'll leave you to think about that one, mate. In the meantime, I think we got a bit of a narrowing down of the question. So, I think it ended up being like, what do you think of Greta then? Well, we like Greta. I think we do anyway. When I say we like, it just means I like, but I just say it to pretend that other people do as well. Sorry? The royal we. Well, exactly, mate, exactly. But not because I'm posh, just because I'm trying to create an association with other people. But yes, indeed. I think we like Greta because, well, she talks a lot of sense and isn't a terrorist in the same way that, as you will be familiar with me saying, Extinction Rebellion are, because they employ terrorist techniques. The definition of terrorism is to cause some form of disruption for a political aim, which is exactly what they've done. Greta just sails in a boat and tells people to get on with sorting out the climate. And I feel like that's quite good. There's a risk of focusing too much on one person. But equally, I think she's done a good job peaceably bringing to our attention the fact that we might need to get our rears in gear as regards sorting out the environment and that. So that's my that's my view. I don't feel like you can really say much more about Greta, really. She likes to speak truth to power, but it is quite amusing, I think, when she has a go at all the politicians many times her age, possibly. But I mean, there is a lot of publicity equally. Maybe we could be focusing on other things as well. But I don't think she's doing anything particularly bad, you know. She's doing a good job. I'm not sure she cares what I think, but if you wanted the answer anyway. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good, mate. Says I'm familiar with the fact that I can barely hear him, so it's unlikely you can. I could make it, possibly. Actually, I say that's probably not true. So that you could all hear mate perfectly clearly, but then I wouldn't be able to hear a single thing that he said. So, so ultimately, have you got an answer for that question about your most interesting thing at university so far, then, mate?
I don't think so, mate.
Alright, well that's alright, mate, don't worry. You got any questions for me?
Yes, mate, what's your most interesting thing that you've done so far?
Mate has turned the question back on myself. Right. I think, mate, one of the most interesting things has been realising that reality TV, as much of it is as painful to watch as I think it is as cleverly put together and as well made as the things that I really do enjoy. The people who make reality television are doing a brilliant job of doing it, and they're achieving everything they want to achieve by what they're doing. I just don't really find what they do enjoyable. It's not, therefore, bad television in the way of the quality that it's been made, just the tone of it I really don't like, which I thought was quite interesting. There's a lot to talk about, in fact, with like reality television and that. Don't make me talk about it though, mate. No! It's sort of, well, it's just the way it's produced, mate, to get people involved and immersed with it in the same way that people who make drama or comedy would. They're achieving that with their own reality things. It's just not enjoyable. For me, anyway, but obviously hugely enjoyable for other people. Anything else, mate? No, mate, no. Exactly. Bitto pasta and that. Right. Well, the chat, I'll have to go back up it, because it seems to be mostly about this game. I mean, what's that all about? Why are you talking about this game? Will there be a floor 50 soon? I'd hope. I mean, I think there should have been one by now. I think there's plenty stuff to be adding for a floor 50, and I think it would make perfect sense. I'd certainly introduce it, but there we go. Maybe it will never happen. Some people think it will never happen. I got a question for you. Oddbon's Out made a video months ago, but do you think phone scams should be illegal? Memberships that charge you money every month. Now, I feel like I must be missing something here, because I feel like the two things you've offered there are completely different things. Because things that you pay money for each month aren't necessarily scams. Netflix, for example, is not a scam. Now, I will admit, I don't pay for it every month. David does, still, for which I am incredibly grateful. But there are also scams, and I think the definition of the word scam is it specifies is what's that fancy word? Is a I don't know. I think it's something like predicates, right? The idea that this thing logically means that this other thing. So scam logically means that it's a bad thing, otherwise you wouldn't call it a scam. In the same way to, I remember a discussion which actually did have David in it as well. I'm talking a lot about David. I didn't plan this, but you know it's good to give him some love in the chat or something like that. Anyway, I'm not doing very well with my words, which is not good because I have essays to write. But there we go. We're talking about your ideal world, for example, and let's say in the completely ideal world, you know, the ultimate. And they're saying, but what if you wanted pain? Wouldn't that be self-contradictory? Because you can't have pain in a perfect world, but what if you really like it? And then you realise that pain, for example, is not a word that demands that it's a bad thing. Some people, without going too far into it, like a bit of pain, you know, makes you stronger, or from other points of view. So a better word you could use is displeasure. Displeasure is a word that always demands that something is bad because it means you are not enjoying it, regardless of what it is. So it's things like that. Scam is a word that will always demand that thing is exploitative and illegal. So yes, I think that is bad, but I don't understand how memberships are quite the same thing. Anyway, that was a really roundabout way to talk about that, but it's an interesting bit of language, though. I do like an interesting bit of language. Standing on trains to protest. Yeah, that was a thing that extension what a stench ention Renebenelian. Don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, point is, they did that, and I must admit, from a completely non-violent point of view, because people were a bit violent after the thing that I like, which I don't approve of, the thing that they did afterwards. So what Extinction Rebellion were doing were standing on trains, stopping people from getting on their public transport and moving off, because of course the trains weren't going to move with people on them. And what some members of the public did, because by this time you've had loads and loads of people who had been disrupted by this group of people just sitting in roads and all sorts of disruptive and illegal things like that, just because they want people to listen to them, but really they're just alienating them and being rather horrible people. These members of the public grabbed their feet and dragged them off the top of the trains, which I thought was rather fantastic. But then they sort of beat them up afterwards, which I don't think is fantastic at all. You shouldn't be violent to anyone, because, well, it's just completely destroyed your own justification for your cause, because you've demeaned yourself actually below Extinction Rebellion, because they are terrorists, but they're not violent. So, anyway, my point is that it did amuse me when they grabbed the people off the trains, and so that people could get on with their day, because I think that was a perfectly great thing to do. But the thing afterwards, not great, because you've just sort of destroyed the justification to your own argument. You see what I mean there, mate? I hope that I'm making a point that's understandable.
I think so, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, it's because someone talked about trains, it reminded me of that story. And members of the public were so tired of what Extinction Rebellion were doing, they just dragged them off the top of the train. I thought, you know what? Good for them. Not good for them and the beaten up afterwards thing, though. Just drag them off the train, and if they want to then get on the train, well, good for them. They can get on a piece of public transport that is nowhere near as disruptive to the environment as a coal-fired power station. You don't see them going and sitting outside of those, as far as I'm aware. But there we go. There's my little segment. I like to get in an indictment against Extinction Rebellion every other stream, because I believe what they are doing is awful and they need to stop because they are terrorists. That's why I like Greta, because she's not them. I don't know if she's really advocated for them or not. If she has, I don't approve of that. But it doesn't mean not able to approve of other things that she's doing. Right, got loads of purple cat fruit. Let's use some of that. The reason, by the way, that I disapprove of it, other than it annoying the heck out of people and disrupting their day, is that then suggests that if you believe in something, you can disrupt people and cause them displeasure. And that just opens up the door to all forms of terrorism, which is not good. If you believe in something, oh, well, you can disrupt somebody's day, sit in front of their car to stop them going anywhere, or eventually that might slippery slope into blowing up their car to make a point. Oh, it's fine because I believe in what I'm doing. Well, no, that's terrorism, and we need to make sure that it is not suggested to them that it's all right to break the law indiscriminately because of something you believe in. That said, that is different to civil disobedience, which is breaking a specific law you disagree with. That's what Rosa Parks did, and I mean, I think she is brilliant. What Extinction Rebellion would do, and other terrorists, is break random laws to make a point. I think that is awful to be doing, but not breaking a law you completely disagree with, like a law segregating people where they should be sat on a bus. Did that make any sense, mate?
I think so, mate, yeah.
Excellent, good. Right. Anybody else have anything else to say? Or are we, yeah, silence. I ate some food while I wait. I apologise if you can hear many eating sounds. I assume you can. I mean, I am eating in front of a microphone, so it wouldn't be wholly surprising.
Are you looking forward to Christmas, mate?
I am looking forward to Christmas, mate. Although it's been difficult to feel Christmassy. I don't know if you've had this, but I think being at university has made me not feel Christmassy nearly as early. I'm only now sort of beginning to feel Christmassy. At the start of December, it didn't feel like it should be anywhere near Christmas. Oh, we got one of those medal things. Have you had that, mate?
A bit, mate. Yeah.
But I'm getting into it now. We got our tree out, so that's good. We like a bit of Crimbo. Not much more to say about that, really. Somebody did ask a question, which is, why do you name your channel Reddit? There's a video about that, actually. But because, and it seems sort of fairly ridiculous every time I say it, because it's a bit weird, I thought, Let's make some kind of juvenile phrase, like, oh, I'm brilliant, or whatever. He rules. What a silly thing to say, sort of very Horrid Henry, Purple Hang sort of thing, right? Then, make it sound all sort of mysterious and fancy by turning it into Latin, which I was studying at that point. It wasn't just completely random. And that's what it is. It's from the verb rego, which people have called me as well, actually. Rego, regis, regit, regimus, regitis, regunt. Regere, rexi, and then actually a word that is associated with rudenesses is its supine form, and I won't say that, although it's not what it actually means. Anyway, don't ask me what a supine form is. I don't remember. Do you remember what the supine is, mate? Other than like the fourth thing that's written down.
It was like in order to or something, but you never.
Yeah, I thought that, mate. But the thing with that is that isn't in order to using the subjunctive, which is completely different to the supine. I thought the same as you, mate, but I don't think it's actually that. I could look it up. I mean, I could do that. I don't like research, but I could look it up.
Wasn't there noun, and then you had some kind of form of to be in there or something.
Right. A supine is a form of verbal noun used in some languages. The term is most often used for Latin, where it is one of the four principal parts of the verb. Oh, I should mention, what I was doing there was the principal parts. So, rego, the present, regere, the infinitive, rexi, the perfect, and the fourth one, which is the supine. The word refers to a position of lying on one's back, but there exists no widely accepted etymology that explains why or how it came to be used. Well, I don't care that. What does that actually mean? Excuse me? Come on. Latin, Latin, Latin. Adjective. No, not actually the word supine, you plonker. This is why I hate research, because I never find what I want. The supine. Flippin' sake. Right, okay, here we go. Since the supine is a noun, it can be used in a small variety of ways as a noun is used. As a verbal noun, it can act like a verb in that a verb which is transitive, I don't know what that means, can take a direct object in the accusative. Chiefly after verbs of motion, the accusative of the supine is used to indicate motion or express a goal. Yes, mate, you're right. You're right, mate. It's like what the subjunctive does. It urbem captum, he goes to capture the city. It is, well, he. Urbem is the accusative of city, and captum is the supine of capio, which is capture. As in, well, no, not as in. But yeah, you're right, mate. That's what the supine is. Sort of in order to. So there you go. There's a little exciting-ish / you've ignored all of it fact that stemmed from why you call Brexit. And Crazewell says, I love Latin, which is fantastic. Yes, mate? Sorry?
When you said the word transitive there,
yeah.
You reminded me of some maths.
Maths? Oh, if you can't hear, mate, which, I can barely, mate said, when you said transitive, in terms of, like, verbs, the word that I wasn't familiar with, it reminded, mate, of some maths. Well, go henceforth and tell us what maths it's reminded you of, mate.
I'm going to tell you about some equivalence relations, mate.
So, equivalence what, mate?
Relations.
Equivalence relations. Right, I've got no idea what that means, so go for it, mate.
Okay, mate, well, an equivalence relation. Well, first I'll tell you what a relation is.
Yeah.
Relation is when two things are related in some way.
Okay, I can understand that. A relation is when two things are related in some way. I'm getting that. Yeah.
So, for example, it could be two things are equal to each other, or it could be like one thing's less than another thing, or something like that.
Could it be like a ratio, mate?
No, mate. It's some kind of. You just define. You define. It's basically you like define a thing where it's either true or false depending on different the things that you're comparing stuff. Anyway, mate.
No, sorry, mate. I'm afraid I don't understand that at all.
You compare two things, and they're either related or they're not related.
Right. Okay. So I could say, mate, like microphone and cup of coffee. Oh, they're not related. That's a relation.
Yeah, sure.
Forgive me, mate, but that sounds a bit pointless.
Well, it's not. Well, it is.
Right, okay, well, go on then, mate.
So an equivalence relation is a relation that satisfies three properties.
Alright.
Okay, the first property.
Crowd pleaser, really, isn't it? Satisfying all three properties.
Yeah, the first one is that it needs to be flexible.
Like a verb, mate.
So mate,
Oh, really?
basically, well, no. What it means is that it is related. Everything is related to this. So a cup of coffee is related to a cup of coffee. And a microphone is related to a microphone.
How on earth could that not be the case, mate?
For example, if your relation is less than 1 is less than 2, and 2 is not less than 1. So 1's related to 2, 2's not related.
Oh, is this the square rectangle square thing, mate?
Sorry, mate, I was just getting. When I just said that, I was just getting confused. What I meant to say was that 1 is not less than 1 is.
Yeah. But is that like rectangle square, mate? Like, you know, a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not necessarily a square.
I mean, if you want.
Well, it's what you said about 2 and 1, mate. It sounded like it to me. You know me, mate. I'm all about sort of media
Sure, mate.
bull shrimp and all of that. You know, sort of
That was the next thing.
making up connections. It's good for getting marks, really.
When I said that, that was a mistake. That was an example of the next property, which is an equivalence relation.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. I think I almost got that because I thought it's not quite what you were saying, but I actually understood what you meant.
Yeah.
Right.
An equivalence relation is symmetric, which means that if thing number 1 is related to thing number 2,
Yeah.
then thing number 2 must be related to thing number 1.
Okay, I can get behind that. If thing number 1 is related to thing number 2, thing number 2 is related to thing number 1. So you sort of, well, it's a tautology. You're stating yourself again.
Yeah, sure. I guess. And the third property is that it needs to be transitive.
Right.
Which means if thing number 1 is related to thing number 2, thing number 2 is related to thing number 3, then thing number 1 must also be related to thing number 3.
Oh, right. So if you've got a friend and I'm your friend, I'm friends with them as well, then that would be transitive.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
As it turns out, mate. Yeah. That's what equivalence relation is.
Oh, that's all right, mate. That's more simple than double integration.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, the thing is, like, algebra analysis tend to be more simple because it's like the fundamentals. You basically, analysis is like without receiving anything, you prove a bunch of stuff, and then an algebra sort of goes analysis, and then calculus goes on that stuff.
Oh, no, sorry, Matt. I'm going to have to stop you there. We've had a please no calculus in the chat, and I'm minded to agree because it's maths.
Well, that's fine, mate, because that was the only time I was going to mention.
That's good, mate. That's good. Nice, concise bit of calculus there that sort of ends. Speaking of maths, though, ideally not calculus, but who knows? I mean, I wouldn't actually know because I don't know what calculus is. I could have come across it for all I know. So,
Yeah, mate, what I was talking to you about earlier.
yeah, no, I remember, mate. Like areas under graphs or something. Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
So, next term, mate, apparently one of the modules I'm doing has a bit of maths and physics in it, which sounds disgusting to me. So I might need to employ your help.
How exactly is that possible, mate?
How is that possible? It's how cameras and sound work, mate.
Oh, okay.
So I assume all like lenses and those things I specifically did not understand in physics. Yeah. So I might need to employ your help there. Because I think there'll be an exam. Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah. Do you have exams after Christmas, mate?
No, mate. Luckily, I'm a slacker. I've got nothing of the sort.
Well, mate, I've got one exam for each module, so that's 5 total.
Flipping heck, mate. I've only been doing 3 modules.
Oh, right.
What are your modules, mate?
Okay, mate, well, there's analysis, which is, I think, a bit boring, because it's literally just go by definitions and you try and figure out the right definition just to help you prove something. So, and then there's algebra, which is kind of similar but more interesting.
All right.
And then there's the extremely vaguely named methods of application,
All right.
which is basically calculus.
Oh.
And then there's probability statistics,
Yeah.
which is the same. And then there's programming and discrete maths.
Is that where you have to do it in secret, mate?
No, mate, it's
I make myself laugh. I mean, I think I've made this joke before, but discrete maths, is it where you try and hide it from people? I love that joke. It's just so simple, and I understand it, so it must be simple. Explain what it is then, mate.
it's basically computer simple, so
Oh dear.
like algorithms.
I won't be discreet about saying that sounds horrible.
Yeah, mate, we actually had some programming course.
Wow.
It wasn't that difficult, it's like
I was going to ask you, mate. I mean, I know it's maths, so it's unlikely, but do you get any like articles to read?
no, mate. The only work we have to do outside of those is just one property for each module.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I guess that's where my work actually comes in. Not so much in lectures and that, but in reading what some various madmen and women have to say, which some of it can actually be very interesting.
Yeah, so for our course, we programmed some algorithms which basically, if you're given like a really sort of wacky polynomial where you've got like x, like something plus something times x, something times x squared, and so on. And you're given a certain value of x, then it will find the value of the polynomial.
Oh, sorry, mate. Was that the end of a sentence? I don't know what to say to that.
No, fair enough.
No, I'm afraid, despite my best efforts, no one can hear you. So I'm going to move you closer to myself, so at least I can hear you. In the meantime, let's not that we don't like you, mate, because you're better at this than I am, but I thought we'd have a little break from the maths, try and get some viewers back in.
Sorry, mate.
No, to be fair, that's probably mostly me being silent whilst they can't hear you, because that results in absolutely nothing for the audience. Which hasn't been revealed to me thus far as a sort of art house film technique. I'm sure it will be, though. I'm sure someone's made a film where nothing happens. Oh, no, that's Gravity. I've seen that. Haha. Right, anyway.
Song which is like 3 minutes of silence.
What, sorry, mate?
There's like a piece of music that's 3 minutes of silence or something.
Oh, that's like modern art, that is, mate.
No, I don't think it's that modern.
You got more info of COPPA? I have indeed. The reason that well, I can explain it to you, mate. But I'll just answer this first, if that's all right. The reason that I don't, oh, for goodness sake, cat fruit. the reason that I don't talk about it much is because I feel like I will end up talking about it. And I after sort of before, when I've talked about something a lot and people get tired of it, I want to preserve the punchiness of the message for when I do actually talk about it, which is why I'm just sort of reserving my advancements on it to Twitter. Another reason I'm not talking about it much is that it is so devastating and so destructive that I don't really know what to say. Now, this is something that VeryBritishProblems, which is a really fun Twitter account. If you're on Twitter, give them a follow. They're really quite good. Sorry, mate? Yes, they're very good, mate. You'll like it, I think. They do sort of British people's ways of going about things, and it is very true and very relatable. And one of them was something like some muted response like, "Oh dear," actually means it's the end of the world, everything I stood for and believed in has been destroyed. Whereas if you're sort of swearing angrily at something, something's only very slightly gone wrong, which is completely true of me, I find. If something takes a little bit longer than it needs to, like a password didn't go in properly on the computer when I'm sure I've typed it correctly, I'll call it some various name and then move on, which makes me sound more angry than I am actually at this situation, because I'm sort of a bit dumbfounded at how destructive and awful it is. So that's another reason I don't talk about it, because I can't really. But ultimately, third thing is, I'm waiting for some kind of resolution on it, and if there is no resolution on it, I'll be sort of releasing a kind of statement about it once the new year starts and COPPA comes into force. Oh, fourth reason, didn't realise I had so many reasons. All this with the microphone being a bit dodgy and that has sort of fed into a lack of content anyway, which is sort of similar to what will probably happen with COPPA. But more to talk about that when the statement comes out. But I'm principally not talking about it to, when I do talk about it to feel relevant to you and not something I've been going on about. So, to explain to you, mate, and anyone who doesn't know what it is the Child Online something Protection Act, Personal Protection Act, I don't know. Anyway, something like that. I got most of the letters. And it's been around for a while, apparently, and it's about children's information not being harvested in like cookies and that in the way that adult information is, because you shouldn't be doing that. YouTube were found to have been doing that through targeted ads in videos that children watched, and YouTube has made a bungled solution to that in that creators have to declare whether their content is made for kids or not made for kids. Now, the law itself talks about there being people, as they do in fact exist, who make content that's aimed at everyone, for everyone to be able to enjoy. And the law calls that a mixed audience exception. And YouTube have not introduced that. They've said you have to say if you're aimed at kids or not aimed at kids. And the takeaway from that is that, therefore, you either lose your ad revenue because targeted ads won't be allowed if you're aimed at kids, you lose your revenue because kids won't be allowed to see content that is declared to not be aimed at kids, or you lose a lot of money if you say you're aimed at kids and then it's declared that you shouldn't be aiming at kids because you get sued. So any way that you cut it, you lose out. And, well, that's just not acceptable. Why would I involve myself in something that screwed you over whichever way on it you went? So, as I've said on Twitter, I'm planning to, if nothing happens with it, no general audience exception is added, I shall be boycotting YouTube as and when it happens. Because I hope a lot of other people will not be willing to accept a system forced upon us that will screw us over whichever way we go. I very deliberately make stuff that is accessible to everyone, and I'm not going to be disadvantaged for doing that. I will get on with my university work and talk to people on Twitter and that sort of thing. But that's my point of view on it, and that's what it is, mate.
So, if
Yeah.
Does YouTube have to do it?
No, because it's a legal thing that YouTube have to do something, but what YouTube have done is their interpretation of it. Remember what I was saying about the law having the exception in it, mate?
Oh yeah.
The FTC, the Americans who came up with it, of course, in no, that's generalised. Don't make that kind of statement. But it's going to affect everyone, despite it being an American law.
Oh, I see.
And the FTC allow for general audiences. YouTube haven't been bothered to put that exception in, so it is YouTube's fault. It is something YouTube can do. Choco Cookies asks, "What does boycotting mean?" Yeah, sorry. Boycotting means deliberately not using, not watching, not engaging with something as a form of protest, not using that anymore. So if you boycott a product, you deliberately don't use that product. If you boycott a shop, you deliberately do not go in that shop. It's a form of protest that ideally, when it's done on a mass scale anyway, leads to change because the company have had all of their revenue shut off because people aren't using them. To go back to Rosa Parks, and this is wonderful, I love going back to things that I was talking about earlier, her actions encouraged the Montgomery bus boycott. People decided not to use the buses in Montgomery. They lost all of their money. They changed their policy on segregating white and black people on the buses. The ideological argument from Rosa Parks and others won. People could sit together on the bus as they wished to. That was a successful boycott. Excellent. Love relating things. Fantastic. And that's what that is. So there you go. Will you be live streaming the Christmas Lucky Ticket G stages? Oh, they're not Lucky Ticket G stages, are they? Oh, I saw a new thing. Thought it might be good. Not Lucky Ticket G's. Mind you, with COPPA, you could argue very astutely that I have much bigger concerns. Mate, there is a question for you in the chat. I'll have to relate your answer because, again, nobody can hear you. Question for mate. Did you watch some anime?
No, unless Pokemon counts.
No, unless Pokemon counts. I think that's an anime, mate.
Fair enough. In that case, yes.
I think you've done well there. You are cultured.
Okay.
Yes.
Or at least I was cultured like 8 years ago.
Mate was cultured 8 years ago. Well, you were cultured a couple of years ago, mate, when you had a wonderful YouTube channel that I genuinely enjoyed watching.
That was more than a couple, mate.
Was it? Crikey.
Yeah.
How time moves along, I guess. Oh, my cat fruit. Oh, my cat fruit. Not too happy about this one. 12, 12. 18, there we go. What's your opinion on paying police officers £3 for 4 years? I can't say I understand what you mean by that, I'm afraid. If it's like every time you see a police officer you have to give them £3, I think I would object to that. I feel like they should just be paid enough. But I assume that's not what that is, so I await confirmation. Here's a question. Is this Chalola you're talking to? I don't know. If it is, it is. To be fair. You're a person, as is everyone else in the chat. Hello. Look up the clip of Diane Abbott discussing police officers. Oh, that one. Yeah. Well, we won't talk too politically about that. But yeah, did you remember that, mate? Diane Abbott and police officers.
No, mate, what's that about?
In 2017, around the election, who can believe we've had another election since then? I love elections! Woohoo! I genuinely do. I love voting, you know me. Anyway.
It's always quite cool to look at all the stats.
It is. I do love the stats and the election programming. In 2017, in that election campaign, Diane Abbott was talking about Labour's plans to introduce more police officers. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that she really bungled the stats of how much they'd be paid. So it was worked out through what she said that each police officer would be paid only like a few pounds a year or something ridiculous. She had an awful radio interview, and that's what that's a reference to. Yeah. An unfan of politics has requested that we play the game. Disgusting that you're an unfan. But yes, we shall. Here's floor 19, which I do need to pay special care to. But continue to ask your questions as you wish. What's your favourite battle cat? I don't know. I mean, I haven't been playing it much recently. What have I been doing recently? Well, I've been working on my essay. My first university essay. Very exciting. I don't like citations and references. It's a lot of effort I don't want to be putting in. But I guess it's good to pay reference to what you take from. And I can assure anyone that I'm not doing it properly. Luckily, doesn't contribute towards my final mark, so I can be bad. But I feel like it's going to be a decent essay. Who knows, though? Another thing is a thing I'm trying to write that's a sort of more practical thing, and it's dreadful, to be fair. So it'll be interesting to see how many marks I get on that, but it's working on things. What's the essay about? So it's for one of my modules, and basically you have to talk about a film that was screened in that module and sort of how some of the elements we've looked at, that be like sound, cinematography, which is camera work, and stuff like that, is used. Is not a great, way to structure an essay like, oh, yes, these things are used. So I guess you have to sort of introduce a thing that they achieve by using those things and how they use them well. But yeah, that's what that's about. And somehow, even though I prepared perfectly for that, that didn't go well at all. I'm talking about the level, not the essay, though that might also be true of the essay. Anyway, so yeah, that's what that's about. And sorry, mate. Yeah, I realised that as I said it, and I thought, well, it rings true. It's fine. The other thing is a screenplay, which I know from year 9, mate. You'll remember this as well. Do you remember when we had to do a screenplay? Yes, mate. Living texts, mate. Do you remember? Yeah. One of them was Winston Churchill. Yeah, that was the one. Another scene, mate. That's exactly what that was. Another scene to the Half-Blood Prince. Well, my screenplay didn't go down massively well. It was awful. And now I'm writing a screenplay again, as practice for when my writing of screenplays would contribute to my university degree. And I can tell you, I am shocking at it. Do not let me write a film. I mean, I don't plan to get into writing a film ever, because I'm not a writer, and for films anyway, and I'm not good at it. But just remind anyone not to let me write a film. Edit it, love to do that, contribute ideas perhaps, but write it, absolutely not. Anyway, sorry mate, yeah? Teacher said so. It was my lowest mark in the whole module, mate. Yeah. This is going remarkably badly, just like my screenplay. Haha. I love making these connections, it's brilliant. I managed to make a connection to my media A-level in the essay, which was good fun. I do like doing that.
I have found, mate, at university.
Yeah, mate.
Whenever a lecturer says something that, like, I've kind of met before at A-level, I was thinking, oh, I've seen this before.
Exactly, mate. I had that with Judith Butler. She's very useful. She said that gender is a social construct, which it is, by the way. The idea that it's just based around how people perform, how people act in life, and then you get these gender binaries created from that. And she was one of my media A-level theorists, and then she turned up in a lecture, and I was like, yes, Judith. I mean, silently, I didn't shout, yes, Judith, but she's great, you know. So that was enjoyable seeing her pop up again. Who is it for you, mate?
Not really a specific person, just generally,
Oh, an idea.
yeah, ideas. Like, example, how to solve second order differential equations, mate.
Oh dear.
I remember being taught that at A level, and it was never really explained why you do the method you do. But now it's been explained why you do the method, or at least to some extent it's been explained.
That's excellent, mate. I like to hear that. No, sorry, I like to hear the fact that it makes sense. I can't imagine me understanding second order differential equations. I mean, the first order sounds difficult enough. Speaking of the first order, Star Wars. Lovely connection there. I was happy with that one. Do you remember when we went to see The Force Awakens, mate? Yeah, that was good fun. I have nothing more to say about that. I just remembered it being fun. I'm going to, I believe anyway, be seeing that, well, at some point. I've got no idea when, but nowhere near when it gets released, so nobody spoil it for me, please. Reggie, you tried the new Star Wars game? Afraid not. Not much for a gamer. Certainly not console gamer, since my PlayStation broke. Waiting to see if PlayStation 5 has backwards compatibility for PlayStation 3 games. If it does, I'll buy one. If it doesn't, I won't. And, well, that's about as far as it goes. You watching The Mandalorian? I assume that's what Mando is short for. No. Because that's, firstly, not available in the UK. Secondly, Disney Plus does not actually personally interest me. Other than it does interest me in a sort of media industries way, but not in a buying it way. Because, I mean, to be fair, I like Netflix, but I don't even pay for that. David does. Again, shout out for David. And so, yeah, not into buying more streaming services. I mostly just listen to Radio 4, to be fair. Fun fact, you can listen to Radio 4 even if you don't pay your licence fee. Because the licence fee actually only covers visual television, even though the BBC still needs money to create its radio programmes. Yeah. I found that out whilst listening to Radio 4 programme. I had no idea, because I thought, well, that would be a ridiculous thing to think. But then when you actually think about it, calling it the TV licence, it suddenly makes sense. Anyway. Are you a Pokemon fan? I'm not sure you can call me a Pokemon fan at all, but I'm not. I don't dislike Pokemon. But that's really all I can say. I've seen one episode of Pokemon, the one where Slowbro becomes Slowking. Is that right? Or is it Slowpoke becomes Slowking? Because it's a branched evolution. I don't remember, other than the fact it's a branched evolution. I remember that. And I think I saw a bit of the one with Mewtwo in it. Just both of them randomly on YouTube. But no, I know nothing realistically about Pokemon, as I have shown.
Pokemon Platinum was like one of the first DS games to come out. It was amazing. I loved it.
What was amazing, sorry, mate?
Pokemon Platinum, mate.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then I lost it. I never completed it.
Oh.
I couldn't figure out how to get to the 8th gym leader. Like, I beat the 7th gym. And then I couldn't figure out how to get to last place.
Oh. Rip. Moment of silence for mate. Weirdly, it thinks Heavenly Tower has ended. I feel like that's a bit of an issue about Cats keep saying this event has ended when it hasn't. A small issue, but still a bit weird. It is Slowpoke to Slowking, so it is a branched evolution. Slowking's just a lot rarer. Okay, good. Yeah. What is your favourite Star Wars movie? That one has got to be, by quite a long way, The Force Awakens. Now, I know that's controversial to some. Bear in mind, I'm not an original Star Wars watcher. I only watched 4, 5 and 6 in order to see 7. And I haven't seen the prequels. So I don't have the same childhood appreciation. Oh, no, apparently we got it a different way with Slowpoke now. Okay, let's just assume it's one of those ways and hurrah. Anyway, so I don't have the same childhood association with the originals as some people will. So The Force Awakens is my favourite on account of its plot being just brilliant, I think. The way it's structured just works very well. Lovely characters, lovely pacing, lovely visuals, and the experience of it was lovely as well, because mate and I managed to book the last 2 seats in the cinema. That was right, wasn't it? Yeah, it was completely packed, mate, because school finished like the day after it first came out.
I vaguely remember that, mate.
Yeah, and just the amazing feeling of those opening spiel coming up. I thought, wow, part of a new bit history, which is very exciting. And just The Force Awakens is great, and The Last Jedi is disgusting. But J.J. Abrams is back, so I'm going to watch the 6th one because we like J.J. based on one film. I haven't seen anything else that he's done. But there we go. Okay, right, floor 20. We're ready for that one now. No, we're not, because we're being stopped again. Brilliant. Oh, ho, ho, don't we love it? Oh, ho, ho, ho. No, hang on a minute.
There's a new Hearthstone expansion.
Oh.
Except there's a bunch of really super overpowered cards.
Oh.
There's one deck in particular that is way too good. It was like a week ago today that the expansion came out. And let's see, what was it?
Oh.
It was like 4 days ago. They said there'll be balance changes next week, so it's going to be the quickest nerfs ever to launch.
Alright, quickest nerfs ever.
Yeah.
Reggie, have you ever watched Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit? I've seen all of the Hobbit films, but I haven't seen any Lord of the Rings or read either the Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, because I sort of watched the Hobbit films because they were big cinema events, what are known as tentpole films, so called because they sort of hold up the rest of the films that are made because of the massive amount of profit they make. But I don't really know much about lore and all of that. I just quite like Martin Freeman. You know, he's quite good. I say that because recently I was watching Nativity again, which is a fantastic film, and I love it. Because it's Christmas, of course. And that was a reason that came to mind. But probably just because they were big films. Yeah?
Mate, you know you mentioned I should look at the VeryBritishProblems.
Yes, mate.
And you just said you watched the Nativity again because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
And one of the tweets is like Simpson is sort of feeling a bit Christmas. And the first bullet point is the desire to watch Christmas movies.
Well, exactly, mate. Exactly. I need to actually watch Love Actually. I haven't seen it yet, and I feel like it's sort of a film that I need to have seen. I know you're not a great film and TV watcher, mate. So yeah. Nativity over any other Christmas film for sure. Absolutely, you're completely correct, my chap. Sorry, what were you saying, mate? I interrupted you there.
I remember a while ago on Twitter you recommended that Ronnie Chang series.
Yes, mate, I did. Did you watch it?
I watched a few episodes.
Brilliant, mate.
I found it was good. I just found that like almost all of the characters are really, really unlikely.
Do you not like Ronnie, mate?
No, mate, he just gets mad with it.
You see, I love that. I understand what you mean, mate, but I feel like I see a bit of myself in Ronnie in that sense. What about Asher? What's not likeable about Asher, mate?
That's one of the likable
Oh, I see. Right, okay.
characters in the whole series.
Yeah, yeah. Elvin you love to hate, to be fair, as you do Craig.
I forget the names of them.
What about their dysfunctional law professor?
Oh yeah, he's funny. Yeah, yeah.
There you go. That's an interesting point of view, though. I mean, I can understand that. Certainly, I can't remember his name now, but, you know, snooty Australian bloke with his yacht. I mean, he's not likeable. But again, that's deliberate. But yeah, and I just love it. I find it incredibly funny, and it's sad that there was never another series of it, but I love it. I love it. I extend that recommendation to everyone else. Apparently, it was made by Comedy Central, so I don't know how accessible that is relative to BBC programmes, because it turned up on the BBC. But yeah, I would definitely recommend. Classic content. Right, of all the things that I've got, I haven't put out Shadow Gal for some reason, or Meg Aphrodite, or like any of these things. Yeah, exactly, mate. Shadow Gal. Shuffle the cat fruit and they should stack up. You should try it. Yeah, no, I know about that. Thank you for reminding me, though, because I did sort of forget about it. But that wouldn't have helped what I was doing, because I needed to know the amounts. And it still doesn't say that if you stack them up. It just puts them into nice-looking piles, really. Which is all very well, but they could have just added a bar that said how many of each there were. They could still. But there we go, you know. And we got Shadow Gal out now, so we should be alright. Dancy bloke, as long as we're catching him at the right time, should not have one more thing to say to us. So, mate, were you saying something just then, or just sort of general words? Alright, that's alright. Well, I'm glad you gave Ronnie Cheng a go, mate. I found it particularly funny. And I'm glad you thought it was alright, so that's good. Yeah. Which episodes did you see, mate? There are 7 in total, mate. Alright. Watch the last episode, mate, as one more. That one's quite enjoyable. That one's about exam stress, so that might be relevant to you soon. Yeah, classic. Love Ronnie Cheng. I mean, apparently he's a comedian elsewhere as well, which has been a theme of a lot of things that I've liked, actually. And like, this person has presence elsewhere, and I had absolutely no idea about it. That was true of Flat TV, another thing on the BBC that didn't get another series. Tom Rosenthal is in quite a lot, actually. Quite a lot of things I haven't seen. So, yeah, there you go. Finding out all sorts of things. Silence falls once again. I hope that the game music is masking that horrendous silence, and I hope it's lovely and crisp and clear and smooth, because it should be, because I can't hear it, which means that it's running directly to your ears instead of into the open air, into my ears and into the microphone. How much time is left for the stream? Until I very much tire, until I think no more leaderships, until I get angry, until my parents come home. Until
you beat 440.
Yeah, I mean, that will not happen for hours and hours, but yet you are right, mate, logically speaking. But yes. Yeah, no, non-specific at the moment. I was thinking about the word infinite, and how actually infinite just means doesn't end. Surely that means that it doesn't necessarily end, not it doesn't end forever and ever. I was thinking, why does it demand that it's forever and ever, that it doesn't end, rather than it has a non-specific end? That was one of my shower thoughts. Bit difficult to try and explain, but I was thinking about all these words that we take to mean goes on forever and ever, but ultimately they just really mean they don't have a specified end. I watched a video on that, mate.
Did you, mate? A man's video.
What? Sorry,
A maths video, mate.
math. Yeah, I feel maybe it was like it was either Vsauce or number file, mate. Um,
Oh, right. Number file's good, yeah.
yeah, and I can't remember. I remember not understanding it. It was it was like one infinity is within a squiggle one or something similar to that. And then there's an A squiggle two, and then all of those A squiggles go into a larger thing. It basically kept having like loads of lines in a row, then those lines would compact, and then that'd be a tiny line within a larger series of lines, and then they compacted. That was the visuals of it, anyway.
Fair enough, mate.
I know what you mean when you say countable and uncountable infinities, but equally I didn't understand it.
It's like, if you map if you assign each thing to a number, start from like 1, 2, 3, and
Yeah.
so on. If you can like number each thing in order, then it's countable.
Hmm. Right.
Did you know, mate, there are the same number of
To ask,
rational
alright.
numbers as there are integers?
There are the same number of what, sorry, mate?
Rational numbers as integers.
What's a rational number, mate? I feel like I should know
It's
that.
a fraction, mate.
It's a what, mate?
A fraction.
Oh, that doesn't sound very rational to me. No rational person would go for fractions in my mind, but
Well, at least it's better than irrational numbers, mate.
is what's that like, mate? Is that I and all of
It's
that?
not a fraction. No, I is different, mate. It's
That's imaginary.
yeah.
Yeah. What's E, mate? Is that an imaginary number?
No, that's irrational.
That's an irrational number. All right. Is pi an irrational number?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, so recurring fractions they're irrational as well.
No, mate. Recurring because they like 1/3 is 1/3. Basically, anything that can be written like a over b.
Oh no, it's yeah. I see what I mean. What I was trying to go for is it goes on forever, but there's a another distinction to be had in that
Yeah.
both pi and a third go on forever, but a third can be written as a fraction and a pi can't. You can only have like was it 22/7, but that's not
Oh,
quite
I'm
right.
very proud of you there, mate.
Was that right?
That was right, mate.
Oh, you know what? And on that, I'm very proud of you, mate. It's really made me smile. I'm gonna go and get myself, well, I would say a cup of tea. I'm actually gonna heat up my coffee, because there's a little bit of dregs and they're cold, and then I shall come back. Flip. You know what I've just realised?
What, mate?
You being quiet, that's my fault.
Oh.
I didn't put speaker on, so no wonder I could barely hear you. You were in a volume mode where I was supposed to have you up against my ear.
Right, okay.
So now people should be able to hear you, which hopefully will be fantastic. I hope people will agree.
Yeah.
Right, but we're back anyway. Oh, £1! Ryan Irvine, thank you. Thank you for your £1. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. No message, but I thank you ever so greatly. Lovely. Right. I assume people can hear me anyway. Everything's the same as it was. So, hurrah. Except for the fact that now people should be able to hear me. Hey!
Whoa.
Excellent. Do, 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 do. Yeah. Go, mate. Go, mate.
Go you, mate. Hey, mate.
Yeah?
Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Reggae. Eat reggae balls.
Oh, right. Yes. No. Definitely not.
Reggae balls.
Yes.
Reggae, mate. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Right, okay. Let's have a look at our strategies. I haven't been in this folder in ages. Heavenly Tower, L strats. Let's start putting them together. Now that people can hear you, mate, do you want to talk to the people or answer any questions they have for you? If you want to ask mate a question, while I put together my floor 21 slot.
Here's a question, mate, from the person who donated £1. He says, does mate have a YouTube channel?
He did, and it was wonderful. Mate, tell them about your wonderful YouTube channel.
My wonderful YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. But no longer. All good things must come to an end.
Well, I guess that's true.
Someone says, mate, who are you? I'm mate.
Yeah, he's mate. I mean...
I'm not Chinora. I wish I was. I wish I had 100,000 subs, but...
You could give a little bit more information on who you are, though, mate.
Okay, I am Logan's friend.
Ooh, this is from Heavenly Tower before. Yeah, it is true. He actually is. Yeah. Might as well do that. So yeah, basically, mate is a school friend. We met in year 8, which actually rhymes with mate, which is even better.
Oh my god.
Before I had no idea they existed, which was awful, really, because mate's great. He's great fun. And that's about it, really. Oh, we used to know what each other's names were, but then we started calling each other mate. And then we did it so much we forgot what we're called.
Honestly, for all I know, mate, you might have forgotten my name.
It's true. Well, luckily, mate, it's fairly easy with you.
Nice.
So I'm able to work it out most of the time. But there's just no need to say it. If you can go back to your questions in a little bit, mate, I've had a question for me from our donator, Ryan. Which is a good question and something I would like to do a brief aside about. So fantastic. So ultimately, right, this is a CPU strat apparently. Is it a CPU strat? Is that the sort of thing we do these days? That doesn't sound quite right. It does sound quite right. We're definitely doing that. So it's a question that is now gone because I've been what they call prevaricating so much. Are you still learning German? Yes. Right, I am. So, basically... Oh, I'm already doing my own strat wrong. I am still learning German, slowly. You can do a small German quiz if you like. Through my Duolingos. And what I'm forming at the moment is lots of different examples for a video I will eventually do, and I'm satisfied I've covered sufficient areas of the German language. And that is how I would reform and change the German language to be better, to make more sense, to be more sensible to learn and more sensible to speak for people learning the language. Because I think it's a good language, but I think there are areas of it that could really be improved. I'll cite one example for now. One of those examples is getting rid of different nouns having different articles like der, die and das. For me, every singular noun, i.e. one of this thing, a tree, a person, would be das. Every plural would be die, like it is at the moment actually. And that would eliminate, for a start, the need to try and work out what gender each noun is. We don't need gender in language, it's ridiculous and just makes things more complicated than they need to be. So that's one thing I'd do.
I'm not sure it's up to you, mate.
No, exactly. I'm planning to address that in the video, so don't worry. But it's what I would do, and I thought about this. Does this have any reasonable application? Why am I doing this? Well, I thought, this is how I'm going to learn German. I've been struggling through a little bit of German with adjective endings at the moment. I just can't get my head around. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to learn it in a way that's simple. German people will still be able to grasp. My German will be broken and not massively good. But you know what? I'll still be able to talk German in a way that German people will understand. And I will have the freedom to be able to learn it as I wish to, which I didn't have, obviously, when I was learning it in school and had to be able to write and speak and listen to it properly. So that's my aim, to make it easier for me to be able to speak German and appeal for a system to make it easier for other people to learn German. I mean, obviously the language isn't going to be changed because I think it should be, but I will give my reasons why. Mate is so astounded that I've killed him off, I think. Oh no, there he is. So yeah, anyway, if you want to look back for any questions there were for you, mate, I just thought I'd go through my Germaning because I am working on that and I am quite excited about when I've eventually compiled together all the bits of German that I would change to just make it a lot more of a simple and even more friendly language.
Yeah, I'm not sure there have been any more questions for me, which is fine.
Oh right, I feel like, I don't know, around the time that I was asked about German, there was something for you, mate.
Really?
But I might have made that up.
It might have been the question that was in
I think
German.
it was just who's mate, really. Well, hey
Yeah.
mate, how's life? I guess there is.
Oh, life's good.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Any other questions for mate? I'm going to sip me drink.
Alright, mate, what's your hobbies?
Ah, good one.
I play the French horn.
He does. Mate once texted me about that, and he didn't intend to text me. It was quite funny.
Oh, what did I want to know exactly what I said. It was something that I meant to text to my mum.
I can probably actually find it because we haven't actually texted very often at all. So I can probably find where you've said it. Oh mate, you're not on my contacts. Where are you? You're a ghost. I can't find you. Right, I got to find mate. Come on.
I remember Do you remember when we did the White Rabbit +2 thing?
Oh, the the Overwatch thing, mate?
Yeah, mate. I remember one time I tried to text you, mate, we need you, because we needed you.
Yeah.
And you weren't responding on Discord, but it turns out I'd transferred your number down wrong by 1 digit, so I sent it to some random person.
At least they felt wanted. That could have been someone who didn't feel wanted. Genuinely, you're not coming up, mate. It's quite terrifying. Could you text me and then you'll come up?
Okay, mate. I'll make sure to text the right person.
Yeah, no. Otherwise, that person, that random guy, is still harassing me and calling me mate.
Oh yeah, you said, mate. You said happy birthday to me.
Which is why it's confusing me that I can't find you.
Shall I read out the conversation I had with that random person, mate?
You could, mate. Thanks for texting that. Oh no, that's your first message.
What? It
What?
might be because I got a new phone.
Oh, well, that'd be why, mate. But I remember what you roughly said anyway. You said, like, French horn recitals on until 7 p.m. or something like that. And I was like...
Was it that?
No, it might have been French horn recital is in this place or something like that.
Rehearsal until 7 or until 5.
Yeah. And I was like, thanks, mate. And you're like, oh, that's not for you. I thought, well, I thought as much.
Yeah. I'll read out this conversation I had with this random person, okay? I said, mate, we need you. And they said, sorry, whose number is this? And I said, mate. And they put 2 question marks. And I said, Nathan. And they said, I don't know, Nathan. And I said, oh, wrong number.
Did you think I was asking you who this was?
Well, I don't know. You could have been trolling me. You never know.
Oh, mate, that's yeah, new phone. Who this? It's mate. It's who? It's mate. I don't have a mate. You must have the wrong number. Right. Yeah, classic, really. What school did mate go to? Same one as me. I said while I was there, actually, when I finished, I can say what school it is, but I still don't feel like saying. All I will say is that it was a horrible place. Mate stuck it out for longer than I did, but now we're both at university. Not the same university, though.
There's prize giving on Thursday.
What, for the school?
Yeah. Like, we collect, like, certificates and stuff.
Oh, I see. What prize giving relevant to you?
Yeah.
All right. Are you getting any prizes, mate?
I don't know, mate. I assume my A-level certificate.
Oh, that's good. What, have they withheld that from you? That does sound like them, to be fair. I remember the head of maths saying, if you don't hand back all your textbooks, we will withhold your GCSE results. Which was nice.
I mean, I think that's the exception. Yeah.
Classic lad. Classic lad.
More than 100% fiction.
Hang on, what was that, mate? I feel like this is something that was a while ago.
It was, mate. We were doing some kind of maths problem related to mechanics.
Yeah.
And someone was doing something, and I think it was like Ben who was like, that would mean there'd be more than 100% friction.
I don't know why that's funny.
And then I was like, that's what happened to Dr. because he's so fast.
This laughing's probably why my microphone's broken, actually. I was watching videos about microphones to understand what condensers were, because I was thinking of getting a Yeti Nano instead as a new one because it's cheaper and smaller, and it has one fewer condenser, and I was trying to work out what the advantage of that was. Long story short, I couldn't find out, but at least I now know how microphones work. And apparently they have a diaphragm that moves, and if you're too loud, you sort of break the diaphragm, so I should probably be careful laughing like that. Anyway, but that is what it was then. More than 100% friction. More than 100% fiction. That sounds like my ability to write screenplays. But anyway, there we go. That's brilliant, mate. That was a great story. Thank you for reminding me of that. I remember seeing on Twitter a text that one of the new students who I never got to meet received from someone at the school informing them that they had absolutely no right to park in the car park.
Oh,
And they're like, and they had a personalised plate that like spelled out their name, and so they were like,
yeah.
"It doesn't take a great detective to work out that it's your car. Please remove it immediately." Oh, good fun. Best times I had at that school was when I'm not there. No, I mean there have been some funny moments, but generally quite traumatic. How were your I haven't really asked you overall how your extra 2 years there have been, mate.
They were pretty good, mate. Would have been better if you were there, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I'm not sure people in the school would have agreed, though.
No. Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
Hmm.
I was playing some Jackbox with in a Discord server that you seem to not be in.
All right.
I was playing with Max, Ben, Corinne, and Lucas. And we were
Okay.
playing a game where there's like aliens, and there's like 2 aliens, and everyone else is a human. And humans need to figure out who the aliens are.
All right.
Because basically you get like prompts, and you need to like answer the prompts.
Hmm.
But the aliens will get like a different prompt.
Okay.
So there was one time when like I was the alien,
Mhm.
and the prompt that I got as an alien was, "And mine the celebrity I would like to meet is," and I thought, I'll put Reagan. And
Oh, a minor celebrity. Sorry, mate. Oh, that's what you said. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Don't think I can be classed as a minor celebrity.
The prompt that everyone else answered was, "A celebrity I can't stand is."
They answered the same.
No, they didn't answer the same. Yeah.
No, that would have to be a minor celebrity I can't stand. Hmm. Yeah, I mean that answer, like the essay thing earlier. Oh, I'm linking things like a madman. The answer is applicable both ways. Bit of a palindrome. Oh, love a palindrome.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we like that. Anyway, yeah, no, that is an amusing story, mate. I like that. I especially like how you didn't even need to say it yourself. I'm the one who sort of performed the burn on myself, and you just sort of quietly inferred it.
Yeah.
That is some good entertainment there, mate. I appreciate that. So, what would you say, mate, has been your favourite A-level? Or had?
Was my favourite A-level.
Yeah.
Well, that would be further maths, mate.
Ooh. I know some people who did further maths, mate. They absolutely hated it.
Fair enough.
What did you like about further maths?
I don't know, some bits of it.
More than 100% friction.
Sure, I mean, I don't know. It's good.
Alright.
I just like learning. I miss Mr. Walder. For some reason, I miss Mr. Walder. He was such a good teacher.
Nice,
Like-
man, yeah.
It was so awesome, like, when you're like figuring, I don't know, learning something new for the first time. It's really awesome and that.
Yeah. No, I like that, mate. Sort of feel like I'm advancing.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Right.
Oh, someone said, guys, does regular chat?
Yeah, I do. I'm looking at chat now, realising there's nothing to answer, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I fully admit some of the time I'm not looking at chat for good reason, like playing the game, which people in the chat would have previously been calling for. But also sometimes I'm looking at the chat desperately trying to see something to respond to, but there's nothing. Mostly sort of Battlecats questions that other people in the chat know better answers to. So, yeah. No, I am looking at the chat. But it's mostly about how to spell the Iron Legion Ubers' names at the moment. And timetabling stuff, which will be within your Battlecats app. Why not show you to it, actually? That's sensible. If you want to find out your timetabling, menu, events. And then it's in this here box. And you have your events listed down there. Facing danger, irregular ones down there. And you talked about Super Metal Hippo. There. Irregular stages. That's where it will tell you. I mean, the time's the same for everyone. The time zone or what time it currently is will be different for people. Oh, crikey. I've heard a do-do-do. Mate, you alright?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate.
Oh, that was weird. I just heard a do-do-do. I thought Discord had, like, rebelled or something. But it's alright. Never heard a do-do-do before. Could be bad. Oh! 10% battery. But my ringer's not on. Why has it done that? Do-do-do. That's peculiar. Must be the battery, though, mate. Do-do-do. Raggett, how old are you? Too old. Ages. Those are two answers that I give. Protect your information, as it were. But yeah, no, too old, because I'm a bit old. Not that old. Reasonably, but not really. And ages, I just think is absolutely hilarious because that's more a sort of length of time of hours, not, you know, how long you've been living for. And is also completely useless as an answer, which I think is funny. Other people might think it's just a terrible answer. So now I'm explaining why I say these things. It just seems rubbish. Oh well. We've done those floors, which is fabulous. Time to move on to floor 23, which is where we last were in Heavenly Tower, seemingly, because this is the floor 23 slot. So let's just do that. No, Catfruit, I refuse to play your horrible game. Go away. We don't like you. Yes, that's right. We don't like you. Yes. I know you get this a lot, but why don't you meat shield so much? Oh. Well, I feel like I do. I can't answer that because I feel like I tried to. I mean, I'm usually the one meat shielding when people point out I'm not supposed to, so I really can't answer that. When's your birthday, mate? Not a question I'm asking you, mate. It's what someone said in the chat. People often wish me a happy birthday on the 21st of September, which is very nice of them. I always appreciate that. So, mate, have you been keeping track with Battlecats or anything like that?
Keeping track with Battlecats?
Yeah.
As in, like, playing Battlecats?
Checking in now and then, or playing, yeah.
No, mate, it takes up so much space on my phone.
To be honest, mate, I'm sort of worryingly close to your answer myself. I actually spend very little time on Battlecats. I mean, this is obviously the longest I've spent on it in a long time. Here and now in the stream.
On my phone, then it would be fine, I think. In fact, I don't really play Hearthstone so much on mobile anymore anyway, so I could uninstall it.
Alright.
I just play Hearthstone on the computer now.
Well, there we go. It's all rather intriguing. Right, what was my next thing to ask? That's the question. After you beat every stage, the game kind of gets boring. Well, exactly. That's why you hold yourself back and you don't beat every stage. That's why, that's my answer when people ask, why have you not proceeded very far forward with X thing? to give myself space to carry on with things when other people have finished everything and then get bored. Savour it. That's what I'm trying to do with my food. I always eat it up too quickly, and that is the culinary equivalent of people who finish all the levels in the game when they appear. Then you've got just nothing to do. DJ was trying his very best to keep himself away from the stream, but boredom has taken over, so he's come to something ever so slightly less boring than doing nothing. Hello, DJ. Does Tower and Legend Quest now alternate every 2 weeks? Oh, that's a thought. I don't know, but that would sound quite sensible, wouldn't it? That's a bit of a cheeky thought, right? Oh, yeah, so what's your diet like? Oh, lovely question. Now, I don't know if this is true of you, mate, but I have two very distinct diets. My home diet and my university diet. Is that the same with you, mate?
I mean, I try to eat sort of similar things to what I would have at home when I'm at university, to make me like feel more like I'm at home.
Oh, that's nice, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason it's different for me is because, I mean, as you all well know, mate especially, I am absolutely averse to spending any money at all. That's why I was very happy when I found my microphone sort of works-ish, and I won't have to immediately buy a replacement. So, at university, I spend as little as I can on food, and the things I've made myself, there's no other way to say it, they are ghastly and awful, and I didn't realise I was this bad a cook, but I am. But they're mostly just very kind of bland things, despite my best efforts. And I want to get better at cooking, and that's my aim. I've got some spices now, and hopefully they will make things a bit more interesting. I make myself a proper curry, things like that. I mean, I get my pizzas. They're sort of the only continuity, and they're not too difficult to do because you just whack them straight in the oven. I guess I have more of what I like the most, but luckily at home I usually have a lot of what I like anyway. So in that respect, it's not sort of food freedom, it's just I have to make it myself, which means that I do it really badly and as cheaply as possible. So my diet at university, to answer the question, which I've been taking a while to get round to doing, is... hang on. Reggie, come on, you can do it faster. If I do it faster, there'll be more gaps in between what I do, and the stream will end more quickly. I feel like doing these things more slowly is just more in everyone's interest. I mean, you can disagree, that's perfectly fine, but that's my view on the matter. Anyway.
Of course, mate, because you have to end the stream once you beat 440.
Yeah, although it will definitely end before that. People excited for that prospect. So, ultimately, my diet at university consists of pizza, which is more on the expensive side of my meals. That's about 80 pence per meal. And on the cheaper side of meals are sort of stock, bland, rubbish meals that I make myself, such as a load of bland and tasteless curry or a load of bland and tasteless pasta. Other things I might make myself include a cup of tea with a biscuit. I'm alright at that because it's obviously really easy, and it's not food. And another easy one, eating other people's leftovers that they don't want. That's a big one for me. Reggie, do you like rice cakes? I think they're alright. Not massive on them, but I don't dislike them. But yes, that's my diet at university mostly. Nice and cheap, really. That's what it's all about. Oh, and alcohol. Lots of alcohol, but that's not really food. I do like me a drink, though. I buy drinks when they're on offer, and then drink them slowly. At home, it's just lots and lots of food. Yeah. Basically, that, pizza and curries and that, but they taste a lot nicer and they're a lot more varied. Oh, I know another thing. Enchiladas, love them.
What is that, mate?
What's an enchilada? So an enchilada is a sort of making a tortilla, but putting it in the oven with cheese on the top of it.
Oh, right.
It's really nice. So what you do to make it, because I've actually successfully made these and they're all right, is you sort of fry up some onions, mushroom, that sort of thing. Put some chopped tomatoes in with it, stir it round, season it as you wish. Put that mix into a tortilla, fold it into sort of parcel like you're wrapping a present. Flip it over so it doesn't leak out. Grate some cheese on the top. Put it in the oven. Cheese melts. Cracking stuff with a bit of the old lettuce and some sour cream is cracking. That's the one meal I've sort of successfully made. And they're lovely. I tried making myself a casserole. It didn't go very well, but I really like casserole when they're done properly. So that's something I should like to make properly. And I absolutely love Chinese, but obviously you can only really get good, proper Chinese from a Chinese takeaway, and that's far more expensive than is the sort of thing that I'd often be wishing to buy. Are you going to say something there, mate?
No, I don't think so, mate.
All right. What's your dream job, Reg? Right, so this, really, or something independent. I've realised from writing the essay that I actually genuinely quite enjoy sort of writing things in the comfort of my own home, like almost sort of academic essays and that sort of thing. I thought I hated them, but that was mostly just because of English literature. But I genuinely do think I quite enjoy it. So that would be nice as well, if this isn't something I could do. Basically anything that involves working at home, because I don't like going outside very much. I don't think you could call me agoraphobic, but I really don't like going outside. I absolutely hate travelling, because it costs a lot and it's busy and just horrible. And so avoiding the outside world is my aim in what I do for working. And, you know, research is something I despise, so ideally not that. What about you, mate? What's your dream job?
That's a good question, I guess, mate. Honestly, I'm not really sure, mate. I'm, trying to keep my options open at the moment.
Alright. I think lettuce is pointless. It just tastes like water and removes taste from the food you're eating. I'm not going to argue that lettuce has a lot of taste, but I tell you what tastes a lot more like water. Cucumber. I don't like cucumber. Lettuce I've got a lot of time for, and DJ says, probably ironically, lettuce adds flavour of green, SMH, right?
Yeah,
but I actually almost completely agree with that in a serious sense. What I mean by green flavour is that when I put something green onto it, for the same reason I eat all the lettuce in a Big Mac in McDonald's, is it makes me feel less guilty about what I'm eating, or better about what I'm eating. So for that reason, I love putting lettuce with things, because it makes me feel like a more responsible eater. And so yes, the flavour of green, I would argue, is a thing.
I agree, mate.
Excellent.
I have lettuce sometimes. The problem with lettuce for me, mate,
yeah,
or just salads in general, is if I want to buy salads, then it goes off in like a few days before I can finish eating it. So I'm like, why would I buy it? I don't know.
If you don't mind me asking, mate, this is to lead on to a possible solution to that, depending on the supermarket you shop at. What supermarket do you tend to shop at?
Co-op, mate, because there's 2 co-ops on campus.
Ah, I see, right. I'm not sure I can help then, but what I was going to say is Tesco's very cheapest lettuce is actually, the screen's white, by the way, because I'm doing an ad for energy, their very cheapest lettuce is this amazing thing that isn't a normal lettuce. It's like a collection of lettuce leaves put together to be shaped like a lettuce, and they don't go off. Oh dear, now it's going to play the
RPG projects of 2019 has just been released on smartphone, and it's gonna change every.
Right. Okay, that's better. Hopefully you can't hear the ad anymore. Pickles or cucumbers? Absolutely pickles, because they actually taste of something. Right. So what it is a sort of collection of leaves shaped like a lettuce. There's far less waste on them. They don't seem to go off very quickly, and it's sort of less effort to get them off as well, and they don't go soggy or floppy or whatever. And they're brilliant for just putting on top of meals and things like that. And it's only 45p. It's fantastic, really. But as you're not a Tesco shopper, I'm not sure where I could recommend the same thing existing. Other supermarkets do exist. I do Tesco because that's what our flat does. We do a flat shop. Yeah, and they usually have most of what you'd want. Right. Okay. Well, it's not about demonetized. These streams aren't monetized. It's just because I don't feel like the ad needs the free press of being shown to all of you. It's been shown to me, and I've got the reward for that. Some gamer girl pretending to talk about some game, I think, but it was muted, so that's all right, really. Okay, on to floor 24. Yeah, there's not much time for cucumbers in the chat either. I must say I really don't like cucumber. I mean, there are things I dislike more than cucumber, but oh, for goodness sake. But I really don't like cucumber. I do not like it. It tastes watery, and it has a sort of not very nice taste as well, in my mind.
Yeah, the only time I ever would eat cucumber is if I'm buying a tuna sandwiches. If I'm buying tuna sandwiches that just happen to have cucumber in it.
I mean, I would hate that because I don't like tuna. I was discussing earlier how I was saying we like fish in relation to Brexit, of all things. That I don't actually like fish. I barely eat it at all. Do you say pickles or gherkins? I don't actually know the difference, I must admit. Are pickles bigger? I'm not sure. I'm not massive on either of them, but I prefer it to cucumber because it actually tastes of something. DJ says, I personally despise cooked vegetables, most notably forms of beans and carrots, broccoli, do have it like cauliflower. Yeah, cooking vegetables can be not very nice. Cauliflower, I'll have within a cauliflower cheese because it's drenched in cheese and I love cheese. Also, the way that sort of you have in sort of Asian dishes with curries and cauliflower, they can make cauliflower taste like chicken and it's amazing. And very healthy, of course. I think it's called aloe garbi, something like that. And it's fantastic. I was watching a film about curry, sort of fictional scripted film about curry. It was fantastic because it was about curry. But anyway, I think it's called aloe garbi, and it's lovely. There's lots of Indian dishes that I like, to be fair. Cracking stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that sort of Indian Asian spice can make cauliflower taste very nice, as can an absolute bucket load of lovely strong cheese on top. No, genuinely scripted fictional film, DJ. I think it's based on something slightly true, but it was called Kings of Curry, and it was about sort of rival, a daughter of a family trying to bring her dad and her uncle together after they sort of acrimoniously split their curry shop into two after there was a hoo-ha. She's sort of bringing them together to have them both cook at her wedding, and a curry competition called Kings of Curry. Anyway, I thought I'll watch that because I like curry, and it was quite enjoyable. So there you go. Yeah. What about you, mate? Any films you've seen at all recently?
No, mate, I've really not been seeing many films.
No, I mean, for me being a film student, I haven't seen many films either. People say, why are you doing your degree? Well, I just have to reply, I don't really know.
Oh, dear.
I mean, I do enjoy it, but I don't really enjoy films very much. They're a bit long, really, like the stream, but they are a big investment of your time. And, you know, I'll happily watch a film I know is great, but when you haven't seen a film, it's a bit of a risk investing all your time in it, which is why I prefer TV, usually. Unless the film can really immerse you, the amount of time that films take is quite dauntingly large. But of course, coming back to watching Nativity was no chore at all, because it's a fantastic film. I haven't seen any of the sequels to it. I don't feel like I need to. Probably not going to be as good.
Oh, I have, mate.
Oh, are they? How are they, mate?
I think they're good, mate, yeah.
Alright, good.
Quite funny.
Yeah. We like Martin Freeman. Anyway, great fun. Yeah, we like Nativity. I feel like we can go on. Keep going. This might be a record for how many tower progress in one stream and leadership usage. But I reckon we can do it. I reckon, well, we can hit floor 28. I reckon. And we'll see how we go from there. How many leaderships do you start with? I don't know, probably loads more than I have at the moment. But what I will do in preparation is, I hope you don't mind all, I shall have a genuine tea break now to make myself einen cup of tea, which is not German. It's actually eine Tasse Tee. That is actually German this time. And I shall come back with that tea and continue, would you believe it, even though we've already had 2 hours of stream. Lucky all of you. So I'm going to put my tea break on and turn my microphone off. See you in a bit. Flip. Alrighty, okay, we back. I feel like, are people not responding to my flips anymore? I feel like I'm not having an effect. Oh well. We do what we do, we try what we try, and we lose all our viewers because we're off making a cup of tea. It's understandable, let's be fair. Right, okay, one more leadership then. I think I'm going to treat you all, hello, hello, and go for it. For the old floor 25. I shouldn't have done that because that energy value is not going to increase. So let's minimize the relevance of that mistake and quickly change that. Right. What we'll do is we'll copy that. Put that there. Right, slot 9. Get floor 25 up. In the meantime, mate, if there's any questions for you or any questions for me that you know the answer to, do you want to tell people while I intently look at this strats, try and commit it to existence?
Okay, mate, someone has a question. They say, Regit not finished, COTC.
Do you know the answer to that one, mate?
No, mate, I don't know what COTC is.
So that, mate, is Cats of the Cosmos. It comes after Into the Future.
Oh, I see.
So what do you reckon the answer to that one is?
Probably yes.
Yes, I have, or yes, I haven't?
Yes, you have.
Oh, I'm afraid, mate, that is incorrect. I have not.
Oh.
But you had good reason to think I had, because everyone else has. But no, I'm taking it nice and slowly. Any other ones?
What is your
Oh, hang on.
slot then?
Actually, sorry, before that, mate, to cut in just after I've asked you to speak. Well, there will be a thing, I think anyway, being made for you with a Cats of the Cosmos video theme. So you'll have at least something on it. But no, it's not finished. Anyway, sorry, mate. Carry on.
Someone says, what is your slot 10?
Slot 10?
Mm-hmm. That's what they said.
Yeah. No, sorry, I wasn't questioning your question asking. I was just thinking. That... Hang on, what's slot 7? Yeah, okay, so 8, 9 and 10 are my 3 Heavenly Tower slots. The system I have for my Heavenly Tower strats works best with 3 slots that you can swap between for various different reasons. And slot 10 is waiting to be filled with a specific slot at some point. So it's nothing at the moment. Right, floor 25, let's go. Okay. Right. Okay. Manic Island. When Pigeon gets close. Well, didn't listen to that, did I? Doesn't matter. When Manic Island dies, spawn cat machine. We know that. We know that. We know your own strat for floor 25. There's not much to it. Okay. Anything else, mate?
Someone said, how did you meet each other? But we've already answered that in this stream.
We can answer it again, though, can't we, mate? It doesn't take long to say.
Mate.
So,
Yeah,
Mate and I, met each other in Year 8 English in our secondary school. We sat next to each other, and... Well, I mean, it's the wrong kind of wording to say we hit it off, but in a friendship sense we did. And that's about all there was to that. After that, we just started calling each other mate, forgot what each of our names were, and proceeded onwards. Did not like Year 8 English, though. Really did not like it. Do you remember, mate? We had to study that book. That awful book.
Touching the Void.
Touching the Void, indeed. I wondered if you remember the name. I mean, of course you would. Yeah. It's too harrowing to forget. Indeed.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
Well, studying it was.
Probably it was. Yeah.
Certainly wasn't the worst book I've read, no, but... Dear me. Reggie, are you Australian or British? I'm British. Allow me to do my own rendition of the difference. Hello, mate. I am British. Hello, mate. I'm Australian, mate. So, immediately, in a stereotypical sense at least, the difference you'll see is that in Australian, you will have soft letters. And in British, at least in the Queen's English, which is a way of saying, hoity-toity English, stereotypical English, you won't. I've just demonstrated that we don't actually do that, because I've said won't and don't instead of won't and don't. But, yeah. I'm beginning to understand the confusion in that when American people do British accents, they're often Australian. I don't know if that's the generally accepted reason for it, but you sort of try and go, oh, hello, mate, I'm from Great Britain, God, crikey, or, something like that, which is just a bit more Australian, really. But yeah, thoughts on the recent election? Before that, far more important than our government, how do you say scone? I go to say scone, but I have no opinion on it. If you say scone, good for you. If you're within the plot of Macbeth and you say scoon, I don't mind that either. I'm glad you like that one, mate. It's a bit of a classic. So, that's not how an Australian sounds. Well, exactly. It was my rendition of an American person trying to do an English accent. So, of course, it's not going to be how an Australian sounds. Right. Mate, what are your thoughts on the recent election? Love a politics question, but let's tread carefully.
I don't know, mate.
Brilliant. I mean, fair enough. Fair dues,
What are your thoughts, mate?
Sorry?
What are your thoughts, mate?
What are my thoughts? Right, okay. So, this is irrespective of... Oh, actually, while you're not speaking, mate, I'm going to put you on charge so you don't run out of charge during the stream.
Okay, mate.
So, unfortunately, you're in a sort of cupboard, really. But I'll just do my thoughts and then I'll bring you back out. Because I would charge you via my computer, but that's obviously got an iPad in it. That's how you see in the Battle Cats. So, essentially, irrespective of parties, so this is not a comment on the Conservative or Labour parties, or any of the other ones, in fact, because you wouldn't believe it, but there were actually other parties in the election. I am glad that we now have a majority government. Now, I actually would have been happy for there to be a majority government either way. But what has been unfortunate, I think, in politics before the election is that Parliament, although legally it has the greatest power and the government just happens to have power over Parliament because it has a majority, Parliament has been acting like a government when it shouldn't be doing that. And what I mean by that is that it has been using the fact that the people who should be the government don't have a majority to completely block what they're trying to do and put in stuff of their own, even though the others, the opposition, didn't win the election. So although they had a legal right to do what they were doing, they didn't really have a moral right to be doing what they were doing. And I'm glad now that we've got a majority that the government who are elected are able to do what the government are planning to do. Whether they will, that remains to be seen. Whether it's a good thing, that's your opinion, and it remains to be seen. But I am glad that we no longer have a point where we have the opposition who lost the election, albeit only by a tiny amount, actually dictating what was going on and causing there to be nothing happening by virtue of the fact that they slightly outnumbered the government that reduced in number over time. I'm glad that we'll now actually have a proper government. Not a comment on whether it's good or not to have a Conservative government, just a comment on that I think the way that our political system is structured, it's good to actually now have a government who can realistically do things. Just to briefly explain why they couldn't before, a government is a government in our country because it controls a majority of seats in our parliament. A majority of seats means a majority of votes. They have more votes than the opposition can muster against them. That's how they're able to govern. The last government didn't actually have a majority of seats, eventually, and so the opposition, which did have a majority of seats, pretended to be like a government, even though they weren't elected to be the government, and thus caused there to be a lot of deadlock and anger and division over who the government is and who has the right to make decisions. Parliament has the right, but it was the people who weren't the government using their numbers to thwart the government, basically, is a way of looking at it. And so that's why I'm glad there's a majority now. Again, nothing to do with party politics. And now that mate's a bit charged, and before he has to go, let's bring him back in to talk about that or something else or whatever you like.
Yeah, that was interesting, mate. I didn't realise there's a difference between the word parliament and government.
Oh, excellent, mate. Shall I delve in a bit more to the difference
If
between
you want,
them?
mate, yeah.
So, basically, mate, apologies for the slurping.
That's okay.
Parliament is the House of Commons and the House of Lords. We usually ignore the House of Lords because the House of Commons ultimately has power over the Lords. The Lords aren't elected, and we sort of ignore the Lords to make it more simple. The House of Commons is made up of the MPs from all of the constituencies over Great Britain, 650 of them. Each constituency elects an MP. Now, they usually elect an MP from the Labour or Conservative parties. There's a few exceptions like the Green seat in Brighton Pavilion, some Lib Dems and a lot of SNP MPs in Scotland. But let's just use Conservative and Labour for the example. To have a Labour government, 326 or more Labour MPs need to be elected. 326 because that means if all of the Labour MPs vote for something the Labour government wants, it will pass, because that's more than the opposition can muster, which would be a total of 324. Anything above 326 increases the majority by 2 each time, because it goes up 1 for the governing party and down 1 for the non-governing party. And so what happened in 2017 was that there was a very well, not actually a majority at all. It was a largest party. The Conservatives won 317 seats, which meant that eventually what was able to happen is that the opposition were able to muster more seats or more votes from the people in those seats than the government could, and so could just stop what the government wanted to do. With the majority that the government have now, which is, they have 365 seats, which is 40 above 326, which means it's an 80-seat majority, they are able to vote through what they want to, their programme for government, and act like a government. The government in our system is the party with the most seats. They are, I've completely bungled this, for goodness sake, they are invited to form a government. It's called, if they win the most seats in the election. And it's common that it's a majority, but governments have acted as a minority, i.e. not having more seats than the opposition combined, or in a coalition to get, with the help of other parties, more seats than the opposition combined. It's what's called a fusion of powers, and so the government is completely within Parliament, but the idea is that it's one party with more seats to just themselves than all of the opposition parties can muster against them. So by default, they can vote things through.
Nice.
Yeah. That's probably the reason, mate, why you wouldn't have heard of them being different things necessarily, is because they are actually contained, the government is completely contained within Parliament.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, I have another question for you.
Yeah, please go.
So, because you're saying, like, that it's good to have a majority.
For the government, yeah.
Yeah. What would be your opinion on, like, some kind of proportional representation voting system?
Oh, I'm absolutely for proportional representation, mate, because it's actually giving what people vote more relevance. Our system at the moment is awful for that. In 2015, Good Politics A-level stat here, 3/4 of all votes were wasted under our system. So proportional representation, PR, is without a doubt far more useful, and that would basically get rid of majorities, likely.
Yeah.
But in that case, I think we'd have a different understanding of what the government was. It would be more about bipartisanship, which is different parties working together to all agree, instead of one party winning because they have more votes than the opposition. But as we understand our politics at the moment, having a majority is very important. I think we should understand it differently, no question, and I think people should work together. But as we understand it at the moment, a government without a majority just doesn't work in our system. Doesn't mean we shouldn't rethink the system, though.
Fair enough, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think on that note, I'd better leave.
All right, mate. You've been shocked by the fact I managed to fail at floor 26. I understand.
No.
No, I know.
I mean,
I know.
I get stuck on like 14 or whatever it is.
I know, mate, but you have an excuse and I certainly don't. But thank you for coming along to this stream and talking to us, mate.
Yeah, thank you, mate, for talking to me.
It's been great to talk to you, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, mate. Goodbye, mate.
See you later, mate. Bye, mate. That's mate gone. Right. I hope you enjoyed that. If anyone... I've tried my best to explain it in the best way I can, but if anyone has any questions about what I've just been talking about, please fire away, because I'm happy to talk about it, but I have failed miserably there, unfortunately. That's 200 energy down the drain, and it's actually very sad. Rip, but there we go. What can you do? Why don't you use Umatama? Because it's a very, very good unit, and I thought about this, and I don't know why I've done a force close. I knew I couldn't do it. That's why I said the energy was wasted. Anyway. Right. So, yeah. I don't use it because I feel like it would make too many levels a foregone conclusion, especially with making a Heavenly Tower strat. So, I'm keeping it in the sort of, I guess, cupboard that it's in order to only bring it out if I'm really struggling and can't beat it level with anything else. Just to make things a little bit more interesting for you to see and maintain the challenge, because even for me, if it's too easy, there just becomes no point in doing it anymore. Like a clicker game, you just click and you win. I mean, what's the point of that, I would ask. So that's the reason I keep Matama sort of with wraps on. And haven't yet brought her out because floor 26, for example, is something I should really, really be able to do. And I am just bad. And that's why I haven't succeeded this time. 2 ramens immediately, 1 Juliet, then 4 more ramens. Okay. I should have just read that, but I was having a very interesting conversation at that point. Right, okay, upgrade worker to level 6. We'll do that. Ooh, been talking too much. My throat hurts. Does Regular use talents? Same policy I have with talents. I will invoke them if I think a unit really needs it, or I'm struggling to beat level without them. But I won't just give talents to something that I think is already realistically good enough. That's my point of view on that. Right, okay. All meat shields, Chaos Moon, Juliet. And then meat shields again. If I'd listened to what I'd told myself to do, I'd probably be doing absolutely fine. And then spam everything. Okay, well, that seems sensible. I know, it's a chunky old stream, isn't it? I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying it. A sort of apologies for being away for so long kind of stream. Some of it has been limited by technology. Some of it has been limited by my lack of getting on with it spirit. So hopefully this acts as a sort of enjoyable stream that as many people as possible will be able to attend and enjoy. And look at that, Chaos Moon and Juliet being combined successful. And, of course, fantastic, we hope. Although this getting a little bit close there. We don't like that. We don't like that very much. Very much at all. We don't like... Oh, we really don't like that. Oh, we don't like that. Why are we struggling even now? Am I going to have to reevaluate my strat here? I mean, maybe I will. I mean, maybe that's something that I'm going to have to do. If I do another round of meat shields, can I leave them be? So when I look at that, oh, that's why that's there. So that's just a... I mean, maybe it would actually be useful to do some swapping outing, quite possibly. Oh, but I can't. Oh, that's why I can't. Because it's got the same ones in it. Oh no. Well, I'm just bad then. I'm just going to need to reevaluate my entire life. Oh, well that's a peculiar one. Yeah, Anyone got any thoughts on that? If you need sleep, go and have some sleep. I mean, I know the liveness not being there with archives isn't great, but the rest of it will be there for you. Get your sleep, get your sleep. Why do you use Trueform Gizo? Here, because it takes multiple shots, and that is useful for the clumps of angel enemies to sort of keep knocking them back and keeping them away. That's why. I work better with lots of different shots instead of one big shot because I often find that I miss things. I mean, Battle Cats has no sense of aiming in it at all, but I still somehow Miss. Don't know where the T came from in that, but there we go. Jeff Sanzo's talents for angels. I mean, that does sound like an interesting way to rethink what I've been doing there. And I mean, it is something I could investigate, realistically. Yeah. Should we have a look at that? We can have a look at that. So, talents, here we go. Target angel, there we go. Oh. Well, yeah, no, that actually probably would be quite useful. And the benefit of that is that I could then, if I just look at my floor 23 for reference, or 22 even, I could have it in there and keep it for floor 23. Yeah. Yeah, I could do that. I assume. Then floor 26, it could be in there. Or floor 22, copy it to C, and then I could do that. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thought. Well, we could do that. I feel like it is something I could do. I might record it separately, because I'm very, very slowly piecing together stuff for bringing into another Making Heavenly Tower Easier video. But yeah, I could do that, and that might make things better for easiness of application in the Heavenly Tower. I'll be up for that. We'll have a look at doing that. That's an interesting one. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Right, okay. Let's have a look at the old OBS. So, there's a bit of sound, isn't there? I can't actually make it any louder, but hopefully that's all right for you. To be honest, I don't really like the MP system. I never like having to upgrade systems in any game. Yeah, fair enough. I personally think they've integrated it quite well, but I completely understand what you mean about it. Sort of two upgrade systems would sort of necessarily kind of overcomplicate it. Right, so slot B, that's my one here. So we're just changing around a little bit here and there. Realistically, can I just do that? Because that would just make it ever so slightly less to do. And less to do is best to do, which is a sort of rhyme that I've just made up there. None of the islands in there. Okay, so we're just looking for ecto weight, which is right next to it. That's handy. Do that. That's better anyway. Maglev there. I do need to redo the picture anyway, so if this works, that's fine. Dragon. Double dragon. And then back to Cyberpunk for there. Okay, and that's our floor 27 strat, roughly speaking. Right. Okay, floor 27, go. Here we go, we're on. Upgrade Worker Cat to level 4, and then Maglev, and then Manic Macho Legs. Okay. I should probably put double cash. Yeah, okay. And then Manic Macho Legs. Oh. It can take out 2 of them, that's interesting. Lure, save for max worker cat, use cheap procking units. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. We'll do that. That seems sensible. Go on, weed whacker. There we go, cracking stuff. Good entertainment. Going for that max worker cat. And then when we've got that, we just do a little bit of this and that. And save for Cyberpunk when Miss Hacker comes out. So, alright, okay, so that's already there. Interesting. I don't know how I imagined that I get things so easily, but there we go. What can you do? Put that there. And now we start moving along. Yeah, right, okay. Oh no. That's Miss Hacker. That's Lord Gravy. That's why. I've misinterpreted. Ah, that's going to cause issues. Actually, is it? No. No, I don't think it is. That's alright then. Might have to remind myself of the fact that the first one is Lord Gravy. There we go. Okay. That's fine. And now we can establish a stack of dragons and legs and all of those sorts of things. That should be fairly sensible, I reckon. Look at them, because they can do absolutely loads of damage when they're all stacked up like that. It will be really rather good, and we'll just keep doing that. I guess I should start bringing in the other two now. Excellent, good hit there. Kept this hacker out of the ground, which is what we require. Useless maglev there, that was just muscle memory to tap on that one. But we're sort of continually keeping them back, which is excellent. Let's slow all of them so they stick around for a little bit longer. And then we might be able to get away with just continually knocking them back, and knocking them back, and knocking them back, over and over again. Right, why didn't you use Holy Beam? Holy Beam, there we go. Good idea. I will add that. The reason is because it was introduced after these strategy notes were written. So I do actually have a genuine excuse for that one. But I will put that in. That is a good idea. Yeah, okay. So we're doing rather well here. Right. Oh, no, it hasn't burrowed. Not successfully anyway. It tried its best, but oh no, absolutely not. Thank you very much. And we're just going to keep on stacking them, because at the moment we don't need to worry about timing an Abrahama, because we're doing rather remarkably well. I mean, Cyberpunk is in a very dangerous position, so I'd rather sort that out. No, no! Oh, right, okay, well that's been absolutely flummoxed. But let's not do anything impulsive. Let's not put Abrahama out. Let's just keep working on our stack, because stacks are fan-stack-stick. Yes, there we go, lovely. Absolutely fan-stack-stick. Really doing rather well, are they not? And I think now that Lord Gravy is dead, would be a sensible time for a bit of Abrahama, especially as it's burrowed and we're just going to win. Okay, so, might make sense. Is this strat noted in a notebook or something? No, not a notebook. It's a folder on my computer, Heavenly Tower strats. So I'm just going to amend this. First amendment, oh, bit constitution-y. Holy Beam, sensible. Upgrade worker to level 4. Spawn maglev for 2 double cash kills. Then manic macho legs. Lure, save for max worker. Using cheap proc units. Cyberpunk after, we'll just call it boss wave. Plus all cheap units. And then we'll do this one as if attackers advance, underline it, make it smaller, Make that bit bigger. Make it a bit bigger, please. Right. Okay, good. That's that. Renewed those strategy notes. Good. Taking notes, having it out. Interesting. Maybe we should do that instead of taking videos. Well, having strategy notes written down is useful to just quite easily consult. What I do is I have a folder. Things have the lineup in them. So I'm going to change to that. And the strategy notes in them, which I will hopefully show people when I get around to making the next video on this subject. Right. We have enough energy to finally then do floor 28. And then I'm really losing the ability to speak. Then we shall be off. Floor 28, back to slot A. And that one is just moving that back to Gizo. Getting rid of that, I presume. And that, but we'll just move that along to Sober. Which is not me. Haha, Sober. Funny. And then Paladin, wherever that is. Not that far? Yeah? No? Yeah, right. That, then. That seems about right. Yeah, I think that's because it is about right. Okay, and got no strategy notes because we know how to do this one. Just need a CPU. And slow beam, to be fair, is actually probably better than water cannon here, just to keep them all in order. CPU. Okay, right. Let's go. Final time of this. And a waitress at the start. Which I always forget is the thing that you do, but it is the thing that you do, so let's do that. Fantastic. That'll do. Hurrah, hooray, hurrah. What level is this one? This is floor 28. This is. Upgrade to level 3 worker cat, and the next thing to be doing, level 4, is to regulate these young boys here. What might be a sensible way of doing that is actually Chaos Moon. And then we get Manic Macho Legs in, and that is to get some wave attacking to Loincloth. This is a strat completely stolen off of Caxa. I obviously never would have thought of anything like it and would have been a bit stumped. Right, so then we just keep meat shielding because these are all sort of kept in order now by the Chaos Moon, which is probably a better way to be doing it than the sort of regulate one doge at a time thing that I was doing. Because now I just have to sort of mindlessly spam each of these 4 meat shields. We're getting money because we're sort of brute forcing the metal doges anyway. So actually, all is rather lovely. I think we're doing absolutely alright. Taking the opportunity to upgrade the worker cat because when we get to max worker cat with a little bit of a money buffer, and I can just let the CPU do the rest of the level, pull its weight, make it worth me spending the old cat dosh on it, and it will be all rather fantastic. So that's okay. $1 grand, really. Don't talk to Reddit about going strange. Yeah, still don't do it really. I saw advice for Clash of Steel. Make something of your groan when it appears. You know, do a little theatrical, melodramatic groan because it deserves it. Ridiculous thing to be there, really. Requiring that much proccage. But there we go. These 4 meat shields still working rather well, as is the Manic Macho Legs. Oh dear, no, that's less good. Okay, didn't realise that stuff had died. Let's do a bit more regulating. Put the final workout upgrade on hold. Not for long though, because that's dead. Oh, so am I slightly. Let's put a stop to that immediately. And CPU, you do something, please. Oh my god. No. No, oh my god, no. No, please no. Oh, thank goodness, right. That was unholily embarrassing. Nearly. But we're alright. Woo! We're okay. It's fine. We're going to succeed now. We very nearly didn't, but whoops. That was nearly a whoops. Bit rusty. That's me, bit rusty. What do you expect me to turn on the CPU? It wasn't the CPU's fault. I was already failing at that point. CPU had no part in that failure. But there we go. The CPU is now going to be fantastic, and I need not bother about what happens in the rest of this because it will just march through it, which is rather good. My only antimatter migraine strain is Catasaurus. Well, I think it feels like it makes a certain bit of sense to consciously avoid trying to do Clash of Steel, because even if you have loads of appropriate units for it, there's no guarantee that you'll succeed. So might as well just ignore it, really. Not that I'd do anything on Growing Strange anyway, really, because I just haven't had any need to. I haven't been playing Babcats much, to be honest. Rip. But there we go. And crikey, you know, this is a whole load of crikey, this stream, surely, because we've been going for a good chunky while in it. And anybody got any questions? Why do you have Jizo? Good question. Why is Jizo in there? Let me investigate that for you. 428A. I don't know. That is most peculiar. You know, I would usually answer that. It is there for continuity of strats, but actually, it's not, because it immediately gets overridden. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, because actually it has no reason to be there. That is very peculiar indeed. Who knew? No. I don't know why that is. Let's do something about that now. I forgot. Do you have any legendaries? Well, legend rares? No. None. Not that I want one, though, so it's alright. Okay, what's near what? Well, nothing really, but... I feel like our greatest problem is at the start. So maybe if we just cat filter something anti-metal. So something like Quizmaster's not back. Slow freeze. See, I feel like Bannercat might be a really useful one. Yeah, Bannercat. I feel like that could go in there, unless you think that Hoop would do a better job. Hello, Reggie. Hello. I'm afraid you've appeared very near the end of the stream, but hello anyway. Banner? Yeah, we could do Banner. I don't see why not. Hoop is alright. It could freeze them, but I'm worried about the range issues. Might have a bit of trouble there. Puppet Master and Charlie might be a possible one. You use Hoop Master on floor 28. Oh, right. I mean, Quizmaster would be quite entertaining to have around. Why don't you have Banner True Form? I don't know. What level does Banner True Form come from? I'll be able to answer that one of two ways. But yeah, I think for now I might put Quizmaster in, actually, because it is quite entertaining. I believe you did the Awakening stage. Which one is it? Cosmic Cyclone Revenge? No, I don't think so. Is that the third dimension? Because if it's the third dimension, I definitely haven't done it. Heyo, Refit. Good old autocorrect. I'm a sick boy. Oh, rip Huskers. Moment of rip and Fs and all of that for Huskers. No, it isn't. Black Cyclone Revenge. Oh, well, we definitely done that ages ago, yeah. I think that was the first one we did, quite possibly. Well, let's see to that immediately then. Let's go to the... I think B Cyclone is corrected to... auto-corrected to... oh, no, not the big. The small Cosmic. Oh, of course it's different because it's Alien and Starred Alien, isn't it? Because they are different in the... Right, well, I think then that would just be something we haven't done. Let's investigate that. I see no reason not to investigate that. You're right. We just haven't done it. Well, there we go. Let's do it. That's very exciting. What stage are you doing? I'm not actually doing any stages at the moment, and I'm afraid I won't be doing any more. I'm just consolidating my strat for floor 28 because it had Gizo in it for no reason. Weird. So I'm doing a bit more of metally stuff in there. And Bannercat, we haven't got his true form. Although we have got it, we just haven't awakened it yet. I play Bartcast daily and Reg is like a mentor with tutorial videos. I'm really glad the beginner guide is helping you. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very glad indeed. Because that's what it's for. It's to help people. So Bannercat, evolve in 3, 2, 1. Bazaar! Mochi Cat or Mocky Cat. I don't discriminate. Inherited a rice dumpling business. Even better. Looking for a wife who can keep perfect time with his mallet strikes. Rhythm heaven maybe, perhaps. Might weaken metal enemies. Well, there we go. We'll put that in then, because that's exciting. And I believe I did have Banner in there before, so it will be better to be in there with a true form. That should regulate and weaken those metal doges, so it doesn't matter if there's loads of them. And that's the aim of the start of it, in any case. So, excellent. We'll have that there, because I don't really want to be killing them off, because... then you might kill all of them off and that might cause trouble. Though Waitress is fine for regulating them. Fantastic. Well, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I have to go to school tomorrow, so I'm going to sleep. Good luck. Good sleep to you, and thank you for the good luck. I should be going off as well. We've hit 3 hours, and we've hit what we wanted to do. I will just arrange screenshots of these to make sure I've sorted out this new... strat for floor 28 because that one is now wrong. I'll sort out the other ones as well. But basically, all said, it's all rather brilliant and fantastic. We've done all right. We got a £1 donation. Thank you, Ryan. And that's been a 3-hour stream of me being back with my dodgy microphone. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed it. But for now, that will be me off, and hopefully soon I'll be able to bring something to you. Definitely soon, because January I'll be stopping, it seems. So, love the stream. Oh, I'm very thankful for that. Let's, farewell, Jeff. Yeah, farewell to you too. Cheeky Jaffa. Right. Don't know why I said that. In any case, thank you all for being a lovely chat. Thanks to Mate. You can't hear me, but thanks to Mate for appearing. Thanks to David once again for both the Deezer and Netflix subscription that I sponge off. We love David. And we love you as well. So we'll see you later. And ta-ra to you all. Goodbye.